Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tomii, Healing and Wellness Show. The one show that shows you some alternative paths to combating chronic conditions and to find your way towards balance and health and happiness and all those things. With a man who's been practicing this for many, many years, Dr. Chen, Dr. Leiter Chen. Welcome, sir. Oh, let's get you up here. There, Dr. Chen, are you with us?
Yes.
So let me just set this up for anybody who's tuning in for the first time. Dr. Chen practices traditional Chinese medicine, specifically acupressure, an idea that is built, as we'll talk a little bit today here, on a whole different belief in the body system here. As Chinese practitioners have been doing for 1,000+ years, they feel there's an energy flowing through your body. They've mapped this over the centuries, various meridians that the energy uses to flow. Think of it sort of like your nerves or your blood vessels. There's another system flowing through your body. Of course, Western medicine doesn't recognize this or quite understand it, but they've begun to realize that there's something to it because obviously we've all heard of acupuncture, where they puncture your skin and try and redirect the energy and try and remove the blockages. So the theory being, if the body's energy is flowing properly, the body has tremendous ability to heal itself. And so when it gets blocked, bad things happen. When it gets unblocked, good things happen. And specifically, when we're talking about chronic conditions, the type of things that Western medicine just doesn't have an answer for. My back aches, diabetes, chronic problems and pain and persistent things that just won't go away. And they say, I don't know, take a pill, or maybe if it's really bad, we'll try and go and do an invasive surgery and correct something or reroute something or remove something here. So short of that kind of invasive approach comes acupressure, which uses the same idea of energy flowing through meridians in your body and trying to identify the blockages and remove them, not with pins and needles, but with a deep massage. You're trying to relieve those blockages. And boy, I can tell you, I've been to Dr. Chen numerous times. It's amazing. Sometimes it hurts, Dr. Chen. I was there last night, boy, and you were kneading away at all these knots in my body here, and boy, I could feel every one of them here. But the idea is what? That if you remove those knots, if you remove those blockages, the energy starts flowing, right?
Yes.
So today we're going to talk about what's different that you do, which isn't just this traditional 1,000-year-old practice of acupressure, which I'll tell you, whether you believe in energy meridians or not, getting a deep massage in and of itself, removing those stress points, those pain points, boy, it's immediate feeling of relief and an immediate feeling of you feel better just from that alone. But today we're going to dive deep into the meridians. We're going to talk about how you've done what I don't think anybody else has done, using your background in science, your many years ago of studying sensor technology in China. You worked in that field for a long time. Applying that to this world, you've come up with, I think, I'm going to call it the only scientific approach to traditional healing. You found a way to do what everybody said couldn't do, what Western medicine says they can't do, which is to measure this immeasurable amount of energy flowing through your body. And from those measurements, using these different meridian grids here that reach out to your fingers and your hands and all this stuff, we'll talk about that. But you've been able to take a sensor, apply it to your wrist, apply it to your arms, apply it to your feet and other places, as you're going to show us here today, and detect where the energy is blocked. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Welcome to the Tomii healing system.
Yes.
A scientific approach acupressure manages chronic condition effectively.
Okay.
The principle behind the Tomii healing system is that there are 12 meridian energy pathways connect with your hand and your leg with the internal organ, Zang-Fu.
Okay.
Any imbalance internal organ, Zang-Fu will create a blockage and pain around your leg and your hands. We can relieve the blockage and restore the imbalance, restore the balance of your internal organ. Artificial intelligent Tomii meridian energy chi analyzer system can find this blockage and the imbalance within minutes. This blockage and imbalance, the underlying cause of chronic conditions.
All right, so let me stop you right there for 1 second here, because you've given us a lot of information to digest. Let's break it down a little bit here. So again, this is based on a Chinese idea that there are meridians. How many meridians in your body that they've mapped? What, 12 meridians?
12 meridians.
And the meridians are connected. They flow from your heart, your lung, your liver, your bladder, your internal organs. And these meridians flow out somehow to your fingers, your hands, your feet, other places in your extremities, right? And by applying a sensor at the end of these meridians, you're able to see if it's blocked or not, right? If there's a block in that meridian, there's the sensor.
They detect that and the sensor.
And the sensor's hooked up to a software. That's the real key, that you've spent 10 years. How many years have you spent trying to design this thing and detect this small amount of energy flowing through their body?
Yeah, more than 10 years, yeah.
So now the sensor sends a signal back to the computer, to the software, and it instantly tells you, hey, I don't know, there's some blockage in your bladder meridian.
Measure the point.
Right. And all of a sudden you get this, as we're going to do here. You start with these various acupressure points that we all know about. We're familiar with the one in your forehead, or the one in your wrist if you're feeling nausea and all sorts of things. We understand sort of the principle here, but you're going to start and do this a little bit. So taking your hand, and that little blue dot is showing that's where you're applying the sensor, right, to those different pressure points. And then you can do it on your feet here. We can't quite see that. So you're measuring, in this case, the spleen. It's hard to believe that the spleen or the liver connects to a pressure point just above your big toe there. And your kidney right at your ankle there. And your urinary bladder meridian. So you're applying this sensor, which is sending a signal to the software, and then it's going to measure the flow of energy through those meridians. The stomach meridian here. All of these are being measured, I know it sounds incredible, by tapping the acupressure points at the end of these meridians, which flow up to some internal organ. Heart. So you're measuring, how many of these do you measure? I forgot.
The 12 meridian, 24 points.
12, so 24 points you're touching to tap into the 12 energy meridians flowing through your body. Now, again, what's so incredible about this is Western science, that's why they continue to doubt Chinese medicine, because they haven't been able to measure the energy. We all know there's a certain amount of energy flowing through your body. You can touch a voltmeter or whatever. There's a little, we know that's not a crazy idea, but they've never been able to tap into the energy. They've never been able to see the meridians, to say there's one, like they see a blood vessel or a nerve ending. And they've never been able to measure the flow of energy through these meridians. That's what you've done. You didn't map the meridians. That's been done over 1,000 years by Chinese healers. But you've tapped into this idea of a sensor sensing a tiny amount of energy, and from that figured out how to turn that into a diagnosis, how to turn that into something actionable. And this is what's amazing. So within a minute or two, you get this, we'll call it a chi analysis, an energy reading here.
Show the report.
Right.
We get the 5 maps report.
So it starts with instantly now, you've applied this to yourself. You got to turn me down. Okay. So I can see the meridian energy overall is either in balance or high. It's either low energy or high energy or in balance. You're kind of in balance there.
So she show that up and down, no balance.
Right. Because you're not only measuring, let's explain this. You're not just measuring a particular meridian attached to a particular internal organ. You're measuring an overall energy in your body. Is the overall energy balanced? In your case, yes, that top line. Is the yin and the yang? What's the yin and the yang? The
yin and the yang is the front and the back.
Front and the back. Okay, so
meridian in the front.
So do you have
your
some
heart,
people might have more energy in the front of their body or in the back that's not flowing. Up and down, that's pretty clear. The upper part of your body, the lower part of your body.
up part and down the leg part.
So your part's way out of whack here. You're real high. Your up and down is out of whack here.
Yeah, high energy in my head. So I thinking too much.
Oh, that's always your problem here, right? And then left and right. Okay, so the left side and right side.
Perfect, the balance.
I, for example,
balance.
often have too little energy in the left side. My left hand is weak. If I'm going to get a pain in my body, it's usually my left hand. I have a tendency my hands shake a little bit. It's more on the left side. So, there's some tangible things. I understand that sometimes the right side of my body is stronger than the left side. So that's the first report you get. Then you go into this deeper dive and you start looking at various things here: respiratory energy, digestive energy, liver energy, Kennedy, all these things that you're tracking here. Well, you're looking pretty good here. You're a lousy example here. Look at mine sometime, and it's all over the place here. But from that, tapping those energy meridians and the signal it sends and the software that you've done to analyze that and process it, you've come up with this ability to report in seconds. Go back to the other one. Go back a screen. Go back one screen. All right, so this is what? This is the one I always look at. This is the final.
This is the 12 meridian.
There's the 12 meridians right there. And what's that red one? You got three bad ones here. What's that one?
This is the heart.
The heart meridian. Okay, so you're having a little trouble in your heart meridian here.
And the bladder.
The bladder, that one looks bad, yeah. And
here, the gallbladder.
The gallbladder. And as what he's showing you are charts that he has inside that talks about how those energy meridians for the gallbladder, for example, might affect more than just that organ. They run, in the Chinese philosophy, in the Chinese approach, it runs a whole different system in your body, right? There's a lot of things connected to each meridian, more than just the organ. And there is your overall, so you want to be in the green.
Sun of balance.
Go back, wait, you did it so quickly here. Go back to the thing beforehand. All right, so what is this measuring now? Now we're looking at a different graphical representation. And you can see.
Let's show the heart and the small intestine, no balance. Between the sun and the food, no balance.
You're not in the red zone, but you're in the yellow zone, so you need to be, so you would then, there's the meridian itself tracking. There's how the meridian flows through your body from the internal organ.
Okay, so here.
Right. You're pretty balanced today.
Symptoms like urinary abnormality and weakness of lumbar vertebrae region may appear.
It was hard to hear that because it's creating a feedback loop.
Yes.
But what it's doing is you've built in artificial intelligence so that the practitioner doesn't just have to analyze it and look at the graphs. The program, using an artificial voice, will actually describe where the problems are and potential side effects of those imbalances in that part of your body.
So that is the therapist, acupressure therapist, the direction around the bladder meridian from the up to the down to increase the meridian, increase the energy.
Right.
So this show the deficiency and the excess. So for me, is my deficiency, the bladder meridian energy chief deficiency. So need an increase around this direction.
And you do that by hitting those different pressure points that are all identified there, right?
Yeah, around the meridian.
Right. So let's stop for 1 second here. This is pretty mind-blowing. When I've been to acupuncturists in the past, or even gone to a deep tissue massage, I don't think I've ever had acupressure, the Chinese approach to deep tissue massage, they say, where does it hurt? I say, my neck, my back, and they start working at it. And they quickly find, you can tell there's like a knot there. You can feel when they hit the knotted part of your body, the thing's tensed up. I don't know if it's your nerves or your blood, it's wrapped around the blood or whatever, or muscles, I don't know, but whatever it is, there's a physical bump. There's a knot there you can feel. We've all felt that. Oh my goodness, just massage somebody's back and you can feel where those bumps, those knots are in their system. But they're relying on me to tell them where to work. There might be something else that they don't know and I don't recognize. And this is what always amazes me. Dr. Chen will come in and do this chart and he'll say, okay, your bladder. And then he'll go right to some spot on your body and he'll say, I'll bet this hurts. And you go, ow, someplace behind my calf, some place on my wrist, someplace on my upper back. I say, what does that have to do with my bladder? Well, it's all tied together in this meridian. And there's some blockage in the flow of one of these 12 meridians. This one, that's what my sensor says. That's what my chart shows. So let's start working up and down this meridian and find the blockage. Rather than guessing, you're going right to the problem. I've never had anybody do that with massage or acupressure. They're telling me, where does it hurt? Asking me, and I'm telling them where to focus. That seems like a mind... so there's a lot of guesswork in traditional healing approaches. You're guessing, maybe this is it, maybe it's not. They do use some other signals. I understand they look at your eyes and your tongue and some other things and try and get some, but it's still kind of subjective. This is a much more scientific approach, it seems, that zeroes in on the problem very quickly for the patient and for the practitioner, right? They find the problem quicker.
Yes. Within minutes, we found we mapped out all the blockage and the imbalance within minutes.
That's mind-boggling. I mean, this should be front page news. Somebody has not only found the energy. I'm sorry, let's back up. They found a way to measure the energy flowing through your body, this imperceptible amount of energy, and then written software to use that data coming in from the sensor and say, what is it telling us? It's telling us that the energy attached to this pressure point is too low or too high. Therefore, the meridian that's attached to that pressure point is somehow in balance. And then you go to work up and down that meridian trying to find the blockage. That's a much more scientific, a much more efficient, I say a much more effective way to utilize traditional healing rather than just where does it hurt and let's start working there. You found a way to find the problem quicker and get right to the root cause.
Yes. So right now in America, 6 out of 10 adults, they're suffering from one kind of chronic conditions.
Wow.
Tomii healing system empower acupressure therapists do extraordinary work, help clients achieve measurable and sustainable health results naturally, safely, effectively, without invasive procedure, without side effects.
Right, and that's and clearly acupuncture is puncturing the body. That's an invasive, and Western medicine, if they're not giving you a pill to cover up the symptoms, they're trying to go in and do some kind of surgery. They're going to remove something. They're going to cut something. They're going to do something and try and, in their mind, remove the problem. And clearly there are times you need to do that. You've got a tumor, you got to cut it out. But you got a heart valve that's blocked, you got to go unblock it. But your approach prior to that, you're saying that the body can do a lot of healing on its own if the energy is flowing throughout your system here properly.
Yes.
and that's where you talk about these persistent pains, these chronic conditions. Give us some lists of them. Diabetes would be one. There's no cure for diabetes. So people just give you pills to try and control, your sugar, or high cholesterol. They give you a pill to try and artificially remove things from your body or block things. Maybe anxiety and depressions. Maybe what other types of things? The fibromyalgia, chronic back pain. I can't sleep. Stomach problem. You had somebody the other day with neck problems. All these things, and boy, you're so reluctant to go and start operating on your back or your neck, trying to remove this chronic pain that they can't explain and can't cover up. So this is perhaps an alternative that you've had amazing results with. And again, it's not FDA approved. You can't make any claims to cure or whatever, but this is clearly a way to to use the body's own mechanisms to help heal itself, or to help manage or improve these chronic conditions for which Western medicine simply says, I don't know really what's causing it, this pain that never goes away, this stomach upset, this fibromyalgia, these constant imbalances in your cholesterol and your diabetes and sugar and all this stuff. I don't know, take a pill or a procedure. That's what they're dealing with. And if it gets bad enough, I guess you need one or both. But prior to that, you're saying that Chinese medicine, through acupressure in this case, can help relieve, can release the energy in the body and let that go to work and see if it can fight some of these chronic conditions and improve them. And you're saying you've seen some remarkable results, right?
Yes. Since 2010, we have helped thousands of men achieve their health naturally. Yeah.
And if you don't believe us, listen to some of the stories that come in each and every time on this podcast. People telling their own experiences. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it works, but they seem to find the problem quickly. He says, here it is. And by God, when he zeroes in on it and starts massaging or working that section of my body, I guess you found it, because that hurts. I didn't know it hurt behind my leg. I didn't know it hurt between my toes. I never correlated that to anything here. And you're creating a way to release energy back into the body. If you believe the basic premise that Chinese have been working on for 1,000 years, that there is energy flowing through your body, and as long as that energy flows properly, your body can combat these chronic conditions and perhaps even improve them here. So I think it's an amazing story. If you've got something, you've got no other answer, this might be the answer for you. Thank you, Dr. Chen, for joining us here today.
Thank you. Let's work together to make it impossible possible.
Okay. Well, that is the theme of the day here. Make the impossible possible. Try and improve the chronic conditions and persistent pains and problems that Western medicine simply can't address. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you'll explore this more as we continue to talk about alternative paths to healing and wellness. Not to replace what you're doing, but as a supplement, a complement, an additional tool to use your body's own defenses.
Very good.